Okay, what is up, everybody? I'm back at it here. Hope you are all doing well. Today, I really wanted to kind of go over a few of the other important NFT projects that are happening out there, including, the new Superman #1 from DC. Also wanted to talk about the Lord of the Rings NFT, and if I see it as being really worthwhile or if it's just kind of a money grab scheme from Warner Bros. Wanted to also discuss some of the tweets surrounding the Veveverse, and if talk about what Dan Crothers said. It essentially was like, "Hey, what do you want to see in the Veveverse?" And a lot of people were like, "Hey, we want to just get a few things fixed first," and then also want to talk about um, the Miles High Club that I actually created. I got lucky and was able to make a few moves to flip for Miles SR, so I wanted to kind of discuss some of the benefits of that club. So listen, we already got some huge names in the house. I got comics and crypto. Damn, those guys flew up so fast and they're so incredible. They had a great space today on Twitter. And I think they were able to actually pick Matt Mason's brain a little bit about the comics. So Sean, if you're there, send all the comments and love, man, because we'd love to learn from you. And yeah, we're super pumped as well, man. Like, this is a huge deal. I mean, the edition count alone, with only 3,000 editions for an NFT that's significant, with 150 legendary. I mean, if you think about it, like AF15 dropped on VV and the floor is like $500, and the SR has 250 editions. And I believe that, right now it's sitting around 9K. And this one that's coming out on Palm is only going to have 3,000. And it's Superman #1, which I think at a 4.0 is like over $800,000. So it's just crazy. My pleasure, man. Of course. Thank you for kind of coming on today. And so, yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. We got Alex, we got Puski. What's up, my man? Yo, thanks for being here, brother. AJ, Kurt, Tito, 420, so many people. And so, yeah, Comics and Crypto says if this comic dropped on VV at only 3,000 editions, it would likely be #1. I totally agree. Like, I think it's #1 currently in terms of like the licensed IP that we have out there. And I think if it was on VV, then it'd have to be #1. It's almost like it's another AF15, right? If not more significant. So if I'm not wrong, I think that comic could have sold for over 5 million or something like that, Sean. Maybe you can clarify in the comments, but that's what I saw, or maybe it was like speculated that it would sell at a really high grade, but it's just insane. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting too. Oh yeah, so there we go. So this is exactly what I said. Comics Crypto says this comic sold for 5.3 million at only an 8.0 back in April 22. So think about that. That's insanity. So I really wanted to do this stream because I wanted people to understand the significance of what we have here. Despite us all being in a bear market, these NFT platforms are dropping fucking massive IP right now. And with that kind of scarcity, like, damn, man, there's going to be at least 3,000 people in the world that care about that. Like, let's be friggin' real here. And then, yeah, Sean from Comics Crypto says there's only one 8.5. Yeah, that's insane, man. Oh, I got Pixel Trader in here. Hey, yo, excited for the DC comic drop. Wonder if any sleeping whales will swoop in for the most rare ones with mint condition / nowhere. Yeah, 100%. And the other big thing about this too is a lot of people were complaining, being like, oh, it's never going to be as historical as the first and the real one. And I'm like, well, now we actually have an opportunity to get this. And as we kind of, get deeper into this digital age, these physical things are going to continue to wear and tear, and they're probably going to be fewer and fewer of them over time, or they're at least going to, go down in their grading. And then this is a massive opportunity to really be able to, take the bull by the horns and get on to this next wave before it's too late. And it's amazing how much stuff is being transitioned now with like nobody knowing about it really. And when everyone wakes up to this, we're all going to have it in our wallets. They're all going to be too late. So it's just crazy. Yeah. So super excited. A lot of people also had questions about like where the actual NFT is going to drop. If it was going to be, if you had to have like a DC back cowl in order to even get one. And from what I'm understanding is that the cowls were dropped the first DC comic on the blockchain, which they helped create. which is unbelievable. But that this Superman #1 is going to be open to everybody, and it's really going to be able to affect new markets as well. And so we're hoping that, more people are going to come in and stuff like that. Aldrin says, "Where's your cow?" It's on the wall over on the other side here. Yeah, I switched around the side of. But yeah, so it's exciting, man. Like we'll see, what happens on Thursday. But I also really like the fact that you didn't just have to have a cow to participate. I just think it's going to be able to appeal to a wider amount of people. But at the same time, I feel for the cow holders because I bet you they're all like, "Oh my God, what if we are going to get dropped that?" Yeah, and the other thing too that I was going to say was like right now, I think as much as there's not a lot of conviction from people that are not within the NFT space, anyone that's in it and understands it, understands blockchain well, will tell you the exact opposite. Like they'll tell you like it's almost reminds me of like Bill Gates and the internet, or Steve Jobs and Apple, or all these people that are like seeing things in the writing in the wall and nobody else can see it yet. And I think for people that understand digital collectibles, or collectibles rather, and understanding that now it's going digital, um, that we're going to get there, right? So yeah, Comics and Crypto says, I think comics could be waitlisted or airdrop for a few future backcout holders. If you're a backcout holder, you should be very excited. That's insane. So there's amazing utility, right? And imagine like, and I know that right now the cow holders already had a ton of airdrops. They got like a Harley Quinn. Well, I got a Harley Quinn. They got, what was it, like the first comic on the blockchain. They got airdropped, the part of this, like, anyways, there's so many things that they got airdropped, and I think there's going to be a ton more. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. Justin says Miles SR holders gotta pay bills. Probably eventually, man. I mean, we'll see what happens, but you got to think about it again, right? Like a Miles secret rare collectible, it's not as famous as like, let's say Spider-Man, but still very popular IP, could be a very future popular Spider-Man. And with those low edition counts and the way that it looks, I'm just confident. Like if that doesn't do well in a bull cycle, then not a lot of things will. Palace Zachary Roy, what's up, Chad? Hope you're having a good night, homie. You going to decon? Yes, I'm gonna try, man. I've been really working on my wife. Comics and Cryptos knows I've been really working on my wife, man. I want to go so bad. I think it's honestly, it's just I've traveled so much this year, and to get the time away from work, I've already done almost like 5 weeks away, and I'm then the week after I would get back from Anaheim, we'd be going off to Barbados. So I think I'm just trying to like, I don't know, I'm just trying to swing it. But yeah, I'd really like to go. I'd love to be there and meet everybody. Comics Crypto says we believe in you. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm using StreamYard here for the first time as well. I just got this because I think like, just has some more capabilities, but I tried it earlier on an earlier stream and nothing worked. So that's why I had to redo it. But I do have a few things that I kind of wanted to share with everybody. And I think one of those is actually, the Lord of the Rings NFT. So the Fellowship of the Ring, the extended edition, the epic version, really interesting. So basically what you get is a full-length feature film extended in 4K. You get over 8 hours of special features plus commentaries. You get image galleries included in all 3 locations, and also some bonus galleries as well. And then you also get a few AR collectibles. You get like Frodo's Sting, you get Gandalf's staff, and you get like a little stein or like a cup. And I don't know what to make of it yet. There's only 999 editions of it, but I'm still trying to understand like the significance, because a lot of people are like, well, it's just like having a movie. It's just like buying $100 movie package from like Best Buy. But I'm like, also, this is an NFT. This is something that's going to kind of like live with me forever. Like if Netflix, happens to die off, or whatever new stream happens to come. Oh, we got Cassandra Larrabee in the house, massive OG collector. She says, hopefully it comes with the box set. Yeah, thanks so much for that insight there, Cass. I appreciate that. If people don't know, Cassie's actually my sister. So I think she's coming in. She's trolling the stream, everybody. But yeah, Cassie also does my clothing. So if you haven't checked out, go to my Twitter account and go to NFT Pirates merch, and you'll see a few different sweaters that I have there. So if anybody's interested, they're really good quality. And yeah, I think it's a really kind of a cool purchase, and I'll support here. I'll probably do something in the future where similar to Sleeping Comics, where he'll be like offering utility for people that own his hats. So I kind of hope to do the same thing. But yeah, going back to Lord of the Rings, I'm still kind of like in the weeds about it, because even though there's only 999 editions, to me, I'm like, okay, it's the first Lord of the Rings NFT on the blockchain, but there's so much embedded within it, which some people would be like, oh, it's such good utility because you get so many things. But at the same time, it's almost like overwhelming. Like, I'm not understanding what it really is. It's just like almost like this epic movie experience. So I just find it interesting. Like, I'm not sold on what it means yet. So curious to see what other people think about the Lord of the Rings NFT, and if that's something that you bought or went for. I think I paid $100, which when you do the conversion was about $150, Canadian. But yeah, I'm just holding on to it for now, because who knows? Maybe if there's like another bull market, we might see some action. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to kind of share about Lord of the Rings. And then I also wanted to talk about the Veveverse. And if you haven't seen, Daniel Crothers put out a tweet. He goes, "VV fam, what are you most excited to see have in the Veveverse?" And a lot of people said, we really want to be able to walk around in kind of our avatars of these collectibles that we have, if that's even a possibility. And I was recently talking to Will Goes Meta, who said something that was so interesting. He essentially said that if you're like walking around, let's say DC or Disney or Marvel gave you the opportunity to walk around as a Spider-Man, a Batman, or like a Walt, if somebody saw you and, like, let's say you were being like inappropriate, like you were like swearing, or hit somebody or whatever you're going to do in the metaverse, that it could be like a liability to the company, because if somebody actually filmed you swearing, let's just say in the skin of a famous IP, and that went viral, then that would actually potentially negatively impact the brand, which is something I never really thought about. And so it makes me wonder, what's the extent of what the utility can be. And, maybe these are going to be collectibles, but maybe you can, use them to get into different geographic locations within the digital VVverse, or maybe you could use them to have, discounted opportunities within like NFT drops or future NFT drops, or maybe you get into exclusive clubs. Like, there's so many things that are still speculative. But yeah, interesting. And then Pixel Trader also says, back to Lord of the Rings, goes, looks like there are 2 more Lord of the Rings drops coming. Yeah, exactly. Right. So they did the first Lord of the Rings, and they're going to probably do the 2 Towers and the Return of the King. And then they're probably going to move over to the Hobbit. So by the end of the year, you might have like 6 of these Lord of the Rings NFTs. And I'm just going to be 100% frank, like the augmented reality stuff, the only thing that looked okay was Frodo's sword. Everything else was just kind of, I don't know, it's a little tacky. It just kind of seemed like it was just AR functionality. So Justin says that argument of ruining the IP seems weak. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. That's what I want to hear. I just giving you guys all the different perspectives, right? So if you think that's a weak argument, then I'm that's bullish. Like, I want to hear that. And I'm just, I want to give you all different angles, right? So you'll be able to kind of make more informed decisions on your investment. But anyways, yeah, so going back to Dan Crothers' VVverse comment, a lot of other people were like upset because they're like, hey man, we need to get a search bar going here before we start talking about the VVverse. We need to like get these brands ironed out, or we need to get like master collector program or OUP or all these other things lined up. And because we got comics and crypto in the house, he always says like, you need to build the house before the masses come in. So as much as I'm like super bullish about the VVverse, I mean, it seems like a long way off, right? So I don't know. And then Dr. Profit came in and he's like, oh, I'm excited about my 399 partner statues. What a flex. And all these people commented, please just buy one more to make it an even 400, right? And actually, we got Pixel Trader in the house. So I'll read your comment here, bro. He goes, how can we personalize / customize it? How we'll be able to share and experience it with others, and how will our VV assets / OMI be used and integrated, just to name a few. I think a lot of other people are also kind of, concerned or thinking about land and what that means in the VVverse. Is it like because you have a bigger collection that you maybe have more incentive or priority, or is it just going to come down to, hey, this is how much land costs, and if you want it, you can buy it? Or is it going to be like, limits on what people can buy? So there's just so many questions here. And one thing that was really cool, somebody says, are we moving and driving around in first or third person? And Dan responded, you have options for both first and third person, which is pretty incredible, right, to think about. Yeah, so there's so many cool comments. And I think a lot of people are just really excited about like the diversity of IP that's going to be represented in the Veveverse. And then, also with all these burns and potentially renting as well. And maybe there's a little bit of gamification, or a few really, kind of low hanging fruit games that'll be really easy to kind of create. And then, Dan Aldo said, somebody said, hey man, when are we going to get Pokemon? And then Dan responded saying, when Pokemon? Which, it's crazy how much they tease us about Pokemon, which makes me even get more bullish. When as soon as they start teasing you more and more, I'm like, man, when is this really going to happen? I mean, it could happen sooner than we think, or maybe it's still a few years away, but I just don't think a company of this size would tease so much about Pokemon if there wasn't something secured, or at least in the works, but I could be totally wrong. Maybe they are just teasing, right? Pixel One Trader says, good to see more companies embracing Web3, more proof we are super early and VV is in track to be a leader. I totally agree. That was another point I wanted to bring up, so I appreciate the reminder, is that a lot of people right now are messaging me being like, how dare you promote DC, or how dare you like go buy that Lord of the Ring comment, or how dare you do this or that. And it's like, man, at the end of the day, the more that this space is believed in, and the more that people kind of come into this space, the bigger and better it's going to be. And we'll be able to pull all these other people from different projects into our project. And some other people say, no man, it's the opposite now, because VV had all these massive edition runs, that now it's getting more and more diluted and people are leaving to other projects that are more scarce. But I really think that VV is, the world leader in this licensed NFT space. And I think that, all these other things are just going to help propagate and move things further and further up. And Justin says, yeah, they're heavily hyping up the Veveverse heavily. Yeah. And I think, again, some of the criticisms people have is that, they hype up a lot of different things, and it's exciting and it's like really engaging. But at the same time, we just want to be able to ensure that people are being realistic, because some people will like, dive in, or other people will get like super upset and be like, hey, there's so many times that you said you're going to be doing this, but you don't, right? Crazy Croat says, who cares? It's great to have competition. I never understand why people are always complaining. Yeah, man, that's good. And I think that's what a lot of people are saying right now. Like, the competition's healthy. It's just like you'd see with Coke and Pepsi, or why when you go to like, a fast food restaurant, generally there's other fast food places in the area, because they know people are going to already make a stop to go get fast food. And, when there's all these other competing restaurants in the area, it all brings in more volume to those restaurants, so that they actually have a higher chance of getting an order. And it's like, that's kind of how I see this as well. Like, if you have all these catchment areas happening, where it's like you got DC kind of, getting their fan base, you've got like the in-person stuff in, Comic-Con, you've got VV that's kind of like, capitalize on some of the crypto people, you've got all these different places where people are coming from, then it's just going to amplify the entire market, right? So I totally agree, man. That's so true. And yeah, and I think the other big thing too is like, VV really set the tone and the pace, man. And a lot of these companies, can thank VV for having the success that they've had. And one of the biggest things that I always talk about is like the first appearances on the blockchain, man. It's like, once that became a known entity and people started like understanding that and believing it, it really kind of took a huge hold onto why a lot of this first ever IP is being dropped, right? Fun Under the Sun says VV is so ahead of the game. Yes, sir, man. 100%. Like, they've got so much stuff on the way. And I think the other big thing too is like why they haven't implemented some of the things that they've said they wanted to do, is because they're really trying to cater to their user base, and they don't want to, jump the gun too quick if something's not completely like, thought out and developed, right? So I think like that's the other piece of this as well, is that, everyone's like, where's MCP? and where's OUP and where's all these things? And I think like there's because this could really affect the entire trajectory of your platform, that it's almost better to be slow and steady than to be the first off the start line and the last to the finish in a sense. So yeah, so Fred, I just want to kind of see what Fred said here. So DC provides so many airdrops and utility, and VV provides excuses. And the only explanation, red tape. Why is VV news always soon or maybe, or speculation, nothing concrete? Okay, yeah, that's fair criticism. So I mean, I totally agree with DC providing a ton of airdrops and utility. It's pretty amazing that people can already once they've invested into this back cowl, they already are getting so much back and more, and they're part of an experience. And now look, now you've got like the Superman number one, even though it's not completely directly related, like they already kind of saw the future. And I think, with VV, I think it's also because potentially there's like a massive amount more people. Like if you think about cow holders, I think there was like 11,000 minted or something like that. And with VV, there's how many, like, I mean, one NFT's got 10,000 plus mints. One NFT has 60,000 plus mints, right? And we're talking like hundreds of collectibles and hundreds of comics. So you're looking at millions and millions of NFTs already. And it's a huge market. Like if you go on to Immutoscan and you look at VV wallets, man, like sure, you got the big ones, like 30,000 NFTs or whatever. But if you go down into like the 500s, 400s, 300s, like you'll see like the same amount of, like you'll see like thousands of people that have over 300 collectibles, thousands of people with over 400, friggin' probably like 100,000 plus with people from like the 50 to 100 range. Like it's just crazy, right? Maybe that's actually not accurate, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like there's just a lot of people there with huge, huge wallets. And I think my point to that is that like if you offer utility to like, one thing, let's say you offer utility to Disney Golden Moments, then all these people that are holding the DC stuff are going to get upset. All these people that are holding, Murmur Corners are going to get upset. And it's like, that's just a huge wheel to try to keep up with. And so that's why I think that they're in a hard place, because there's so many things that I think people expect and also want to happen. And I think they've also alluded that it was going to happen, but the amount of time and the prioritization and the manpower just isn't there, especially in a bear market. So, but Fred, I think that's a good comment. So I always like to break this stuff down. And put your comments in. That's why I'm here. I want to talk through everything. Just be polite when you're saying it, but like you can totally criticize me, you can criticize Vivi, you can criticize anything you want, and we want to have a productive conversation, right? And just talk about this stuff. So Crazy Crow says, exciting times, can't wait to buy on the secondary. Not sure if I can afford the legendary, but I'll take whatever I can get. Yeah, I mean, I think legendary is going to come out at 10K plus, but I could be wrong. I can't afford it either right now. I mean, I'd be if put it this way, if it's like 3 to 4, I'm like, okay, sure, I'll look at it. But other than that, I think it's going to run up higher than that, but I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. All Chat Gaming, straight fire. Thanks, bro. And what do we think the floors are going to be, right? Like, I think let me go back to my Twitter here. Yeah, so okay, legendary is 150 editions, epics 300 editions, rares 450 editions, uncommon 900 editions, and common 1200. So man, even like if you think about like common Superman number 1, 1200 editions, that's still like a lot, man. And epic still 300 editions, like that's almost AR-15 right there for an epic. So that's the other thing too. Like I see that epic is not really like that everyone just wants the legendary, and that's going for like 8 to 10K plus, but epic's like 1,000 or $2,000. I may look at that. We'll see what happens. We'll see what it looks like, but it's just insane, right? And this is the first Superman number 1. Like this isn't technically the first DC comic, but it's the first one that they're selling. That was their language that they used. But that's pretty insane, man. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, so anyways, I'm keep going around. Fun Under the Sun. What do you think about the logo? I think it's a big deal. I think the logo is the only NFT on the app currently that VV doesn't have any restrictions. They can do whatever they want. But that being said, I think there's a limit to what they can do. I don't think that somebody that has the logo might get land or, free access to drops or anything like that. But I think they can do a lot of like physical merchandise. They can do a lot of different club events. They can do a lot of things like that. So anybody that's like a diehard VV fan, I think is going to get some amazing utility from it. But I'm not sure how much it would be able to like, influence their collection in a sense, right? So yeah. Yeah, Chris Neo, back to VV burning collectibles. What impact will that have on the value of collectibles? Well, I think it will have a really, big impact on the value of collectibles. And I've said this before, but you have a lot of people that can only afford collectibles that are like $10, $12, $14, and you have other people on the other side of things that can afford, thousands of these cheaper collectibles. And what's the first thing that they're going to burn when they want to get MCP points to maybe have a better raffle ticket for a really important drop, like, Tom Brady or something? If we get sports in NFL, they might go and burn all these cheaper collectibles, which then would reduce the edition sizes, and then which likely would increase the value. And if you think about things that are already scarce, again, we've talked about this. I'm not sure if anybody would ever burn something like a secret rare Spider-Man, but if they did, imagine just going from only 1,000 edition supply to already like 800, right? So it's just crazy. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a really exciting thing. And who knows where the utility could be huge for burning. Like maybe there's going to be some incentives that we haven't even thought about. I don't know what that means yet, but like it could be something amazing. Like imagine if you burn like your Spider-Man secret rare, and you also burn like the secret rare Miles to get like the black Spider-Man suit or something like that of like only 100 editions. Like I don't know, you know what I mean? So there's lots of things that and again, this is all about manpower, right? Like when I talk about an idea like this, I'm like, we have to have like hundreds, if not thousands of people in VV operating through VV to like be able to manage or even to create all these different ideas. So yeah, but it's exciting, man. So yeah, Nick Batchelor says, wonder if FA Superman on VV will get the boost it needs. So here's the hesitation that I think is going on right now. Is a lot of people look at that FA Superman and similar to Todd, they see it as a collectible and it's like $79 in real life, right? I mean, I know it's harder to get now. Maybe it's a lot more, but I meant like at retail, that's what it was for. And I think a lot of people look at that and they make an assumption that, oh, well, it's pretty cheap and maybe this is just a collectible. And my whole thing is like, well, it's still technically the first Superman on the blockchain, which is pretty insane. And it's the first, it's first collectible. So I think it's a big deal. Maybe it will get the love it needs, or maybe a lot of people are going to revert back to Superman #1 and give it more love just based purely on the edition size of like, being 6,000 editions less. But again, it's not a collectible. So, I mean, if you're talking about technicalities, man, like Superman is the first on the blockchain. All-time high was 9K, I think. So, yeah. So Justin says you have to go to a different website to read it. Sorry, Joe. I'm not sure what you mean. You mean the cows, or what are you talking like, or the comic? Crazy Crew says not that many sales on the platform. It's not going to be crazy, but I could be wrong. Thought on account merging delays. Yeah, so I mean, Crazy Crew, like I hope you're right, man. I would love if there isn't that many sales and that it kind of stays under the radar, and that means you and I could go in there and start popping these things up, man. Like I'm definitely gonna get one. I just don't think I'm gonna get more than an epic, right? And it's so funny. I never get excited about drops. I just get excited about buying now because the drop is so slim. To me, it's like winning a lottery. But if I buy in at the right time and I hold for a long enough time, or if I flip at the right time, then to me it's really worth it, right? And then yeah, Nigan Tran says thoughts on account merging delays. What does that mean, my man? You mean like when somebody had multiple accounts and now they're trying to? Oh, I think that's what it means. Like when somebody had like 3 or 4 accounts, I had that, and you only KYC'd once, and then you need to get all those NFTs back to your main account. Is that what you're talking about? I think the biggest thing is transfers. I think it's because there's a lot of like money laundering that potentially was happening with transfers, or at least that was giving the illusion or the appearance of that. Because if you think about it, like somebody transfers you an NFT, and then if you give them like $20,000, that's like kind of off the record, right? And so there's no accountability, no trackability. So I think that maybe they don't want to say anything yet, but I think like it'll happen eventually, probably. But I think that could be the reason. I don't know. Justin says DC not acknowledging Todd going to come back to haunt them. Yeah, I think it's interesting because we have McFarlane Toys. I don't know if anybody's seen that right now, but like Trevor's a big part of that. Like McFarlane Toys looks insane. There's like a few teasers going on right now, and Todd McFarlane's obviously promoting that. Then you have DC, who's given the IP to Vivi way back in the day, and then they did all these amazing drops with Todd, which is technically first Batman on the blockchain. And I think I said this as well, but like if you look at the token IDs, the ones that were on IMX, I think it is one of the first, which is good. But I also saw like a Rizzo that was like number 56 token ID. So again, I'm not sure exactly what like the implications are again. But yeah, I think it could haunt them because I think that it's almost as if they're not acknowledging some of their IP, and then now they're also on Palm as well, right? So there's so many like competing platforms with DC, which I don't know. Some people say it's the right move, but I also think that that they're actually like upsetting a lot of their fans. And I think one thing that was interesting way back in the day, it was could have been like the Black and White Series 4. One of the artists that actually created the collectible didn't even know that it was dropping, and then somebody like tagged him and said, "Hey, thanks so much, this is such a nice NFT." And then he responded being like, "I didn't even know this was dropping," right? So I think there's just like, I don't know, there's a lot going on behind closed doors with DC right now. Fred, true, I appreciate that perspective. I just find it difficult to understand why we continue spending thousands with no benefits and we're still hoping for something and just losing our dollars, bro. I hear you, man. I hear you. Damn, I didn't realize how many more comments were down here. I got to speed up a little bit. Fun under the sun. Man, thanks so much, buddy, for doing that. VVOG, thanks for all that you do. I've been watching you from day one. Bro, you don't have to tip me. That's so nice, man. I really appreciate that. It makes it worthwhile when, people share the love like that and appreciate this. And, I've got a passion for it. I think I got more passion for the community and just, talking with everybody here and being able to hear your insights and just how intelligent everyone is. So I really love, being able to connect and share this excitement. And also I've realized a lot of people that are in this collecting space also have similar mindsets to me on things. So it's just nice because it's easy to connect. Yeah, so I just want to go back to a few things here. Okay, true. I appreciate that perspective. Okay, yeah. So I just want to go back to what Fred said here, saying, I appreciate the perspective, and maybe Fred's holding 100 plus sets, right? And I talk to this with my friends all the time. Like, some people get this VV logo, they made the right moves, or they've been flipping, right? They keep flipping. They get the miles at 3.5. They sell it for 6. They go do the same thing on the next big drop. They get Vader for 800. They sell it for 3,000. They have 50,000 gems there. They just keep liquid and they keep cashing that out, right? That's let's be real. That's who's getting rewarded right now, not the people that are buying high and holding on to that and then waiting to get some kind of utility. So I get it. And I think that like it once MCP comes out, which I'm not sure what the timeline is, that's going to flip that whole thing on its head because now all these people that have all these sets are going to get those recurring points and have a higher chance of getting drops. Are going to have obviously other benefits and perks as well. But the issue that I'm having is that like, Vivi continues to drop amazing IP, amazing IP, amazing IP. And, I think like Will Goes Meta said it perfectly. Like we have like Wolverine and Hulk left for like major Avenger characters and stuff like that. So, it just makes you think like, hey man, like we should probably slow down on all this amazing IP. And maybe there's just so many other verticals. Like maybe Vivi's like, man, we got Pokemon, we got Yu-Gi-Oh, we got friggin' anime, we've got all this other stuff. So we're just gonna keep dropping this because we know that we got to get these things out. I have no idea what's going on behind closed doors, right? But I think I feel for you guys and I hear it, man. I hear what you're saying. Tito 420, I fucking love this comment. He goes, the strongest minds will attract what they want. Legendary is coming to my collection. Well, Tito, share that mind with me, okay, man? I want to see your post tomorrow on Twitter. I want to see that you got the fucking legendary. Now that you said that here, you need to verify it more for me, okay? But I like that mindset, man. Good for you. All Chat Gaming says you can't put the VV logo in the Comey Hard wallet. Yes, I hear you, bro. Nick Batcher, the first Batman comic on DC will be a big deal later. I think DC will test on VV as well. Don't think it'll be exclusive to Palm, maybe in the beginning, but it makes sense to try another platform. Sweet, man. I think that'd be amazing if they did a few different tests. I think the Batman comic that was designed and made by the community is a huge deal. I agree with that. And also to think that like, Vivi also had the first ever Marvel NFT comic, which I think won't really matter as much now because people are it's all still so new, but like give that 5-6 years and see what that means. First ever Marvel NFT comic. It's pretty fucking crazy. Something that's also, hugely significant. And it's also just interesting seeing how quickly people like want that shiny new toy and stop believing in other IP. Like for instance, like I remember when Miles SR came, people were like selling off their secret Spidey's and selling off like, Marvel One, and I'm like, man, like those are crazy. Like that's a crazy NFT. Like that's not one thing I would ever sell personally, but to each their own, man. All Chat Gaming says Apple and Disney should just compromise. Apple's just like playing Monopoly with someone that just makes up the rules as the games play out. Yeah, Apple just wants everything, eh? Apple just wants to take over the world, man. I totally agree. Fred says 46 people. I'm sure we can get 20 likes. Yeah, man. Thank you, Fred. Yeah, if you guys want to start, giving this quick like, that kind of helps, get that. It just helps the algorithm. Essentially, when you get more likes, higher amount of people will view it. And the way that I see it is that if more people view this video, then more people, maybe get excited about VV. More people want to buy things. So that's technically the way I see it. But yeah, I appreciate that comment, Fred. Justin, some of the links on the Palm website are corrupted. Well, I didn't know that, but maybe Justin's just trolling Palm right now, But yeah. Oh, the Gale's in here, man. What's up, the Gale? Bro, the Gale, I so much development with that guy. Just seeing the evolution and how knowledgeable he is now on not just VV, but like so many damn NFT projects. If you haven't subscribed to his channel or follow him on Twitter, he's got a huge following, especially on Twitter as well. I think he's got like 12,000 plus followers, and just everything he says is so credible, and he's such a genuine guy, and he just really wants the best for the entire NFT space. So I'm sure you all follow him here, but if you haven't, definitely give him a shout. All right. Alchak Gaming says, could DC pull Todd from the VV app to Palm? Apple made it seem like it was possible. Man, I don't even know how that would work with like I guess like if the licensing agreement was expired, yeah, maybe potential there is that. I don't know. Oh yeah, Fred says, what's your thoughts on the recent Apple news related to NFTs with the 30% charge? Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit concerning. I think that somebody that did a little bit of a better video on it and has more knowledgeable on it than me is My Collectibles. If you go look at his latest video, he did a whole like little 7-minute synopsis on it, and maybe other YouTubers that are in this chat now did as well. But I watched it quickly, so I would check out his video because he's pretty accurate, and I feel as though he'll give you some bang on information, man. I don't know if bang on is the right word. I must be thinking about other things. It's been a while, you know what I mean? No, I'm just playing around here. Nick Batcher, with no KYC, how is DC going to keep the bots from scooping the majority of the Superman comics? Think it would be good to give backhoe holders a better chance somehow. More will want backhauls then. That's a good one, man. I mean, I don't know how, like, maybe they have an algorithm where some are already going to be allocated or have a high percentage to cow holders or people that have already bought an NFT. Like, I don't know how it's going to work. And I saw Matt Mason said today on a tweet, he's like, don't worry, we have this under control and RE bots. So who knows? But I think that's a good comment that you make. Like, these back cow holders have been there since day one. They've been supporting the project. And now, everybody really, let's be real, as much as they love the cows, they're there for these amazing comics as well. So yeah. Oh, sweet. Okay. So Nigan Tran says, I bought up Miles SR after watching your video. Scarcity of 160 public and popularity is a nice combo. Yes, sir, man. Dude, join the Miles High Club. So I started this club, what was it now? Maybe a few days ago. It's got 35 members, 35 holders. I think maybe have a few of them. So it's not a pump group. We're not trying to do anything. We're literally just, talking about Miles Morales, the fandom around it, the comics, some of the other NFTs, like Nike's dropping like the Miles Morales Jordans as an example, I think as NFTs. And so yeah, oh shit, Sleeping Comics in the house, man. Sleeping's got a Miles as well. What's up, dude? Good to see you, bro. We did a really nice chat recently. It was a good time. Man, Sleeping's got so much knowledge, too much knowledge. He needs to slow down on his knowledge. I kind of listened a lot to what he was saying, but he's a big comic collector, right? And this guy's fucking for real. Like, if you look at his collection in real life and on VV, I mean, he's top probably 120, I think, or something like that for wallets. So, just watch out for this guy, man. He knows what he's doing, and he's got a lot of strategy and he's got a lot of insight. So if you haven't subscribed to him yet, go do that as well. Nick Blatcher, yeah, Sleeping Comics in the Gale, OG legends. Yeah, for sure. This is crazy. This is nice to have you guys in here, man. Yeah. Yeah, so I really kind of wanted to highlight like those, those four topics, right? So there was the Superman #1, which is a big deal, guys. If you're not gonna like just get KYC'd, I don't know if you need to be KYC'd in order to get the drop, but I did it just well, I already part of it, but if, I would do it just in case. And then we know that if you get the legendary, you're making money. I mean, and imagine that in the bull market, right? The second thing was the Lord of the Rings NFT. Again, I'm not sure what it is. I'm like, is this just a really good movie experience or is this something more significant? Yeah, and the whole thing that I keep having this discussion in my head is like, what's different than a physical movie NFT, or what's different than a copy of the Lord of the Rings and all these physical things that might come with it. I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out what that means and how significant it could or couldn't be. So I'm not sure about Lord of the Rings yet. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's harder to understand because there's so much provided in it that maybe it's actually so amazing that I'm like, not even understanding how significant it really is. So, but I'm curious to hear other people's thoughts. If you have any comments on Lord of the Rings, let me know. And then the third thing was the Veveverse, which I think, in my opinion, I want it to happen, but I think people got to get a little more time here. I think we got to get kind of the MCP going. We've got to get, OUP working. And I think we got to see more engagement. We got to see more users marketing, I think. And then, sure, hit me with the VVverse, but I think it's still a little bit away. Tito 420, how can I join the Miles Club? Just message me, man. So my messages are open on Twitter. I can see it, like they're not my direct messages, but anybody that messages me, I could see that they're requested. And then as long as you show me proof of your username and your verification of your NFT, I'll add you right into the group. So yeah, and that goes to some with everybody else that's potentially watching right now. And again, man, it's just really good conversation. It's really cool. Just I've always wanted to start a club, and I've already given out a comic that I'm shipping. It's shipping tomorrow morning. I'm a little late shipping it, but nonetheless. And I'm gonna do like a monthly utility where I give away a comic or I give away some kind of merchandise. And then once a month we'll have an opportunity to meet up. And then I think it'd be cool. We might be designing some merch in the future and things like that. But it's just a real chill space. Just talk to some really cool people that believe in scarce popular IP and that believe in this space. Because the way I look at it, it's not everybody that's going to go buy a Miles SR when you have AF15 SR. You have Spider-Man SR. Maybe Walt. So it's kind of like it's an interesting crowd because a lot of these people have a lot of money and they're just like have a really good interest and insight into the NFT world. So it's been fun. All right, keep going up. Yeah, my pleasure, Sleeping. Of course, bro. You're the man. NorCal holder or North California hodler. Is that what I'm thinking that means? Just got here. What I missed? Superman comic on VV. No, I wish. That would have been insane. But yeah, Superman #1 is dropping on DC on Palm, and that comic in real life, we just had Sean from Comics and Crypto come in here, said for an 8.0 it sold for 5.3 million, and just a 4.0 I believe is just under $1 million for 4.0. So you just got to think about, and there's only 3,000 editions, where most of this huge NFTs on VV like Marvel 1 had 60,000, right? Fantastic Four #1 60,000. Like it's only things like AR-15 that had 10,000, and we see where that's currently at. So it's a big deal, man. And Nick says, I need to work a little harder and get an SR Miles. Used to have everything Spider-Man. I'll make your club one day. Yeah, man, and I might start another club, right? If something else comes out. Like, but one thing I'll just full disclaimer now, if Pokemon drops, man, I'm literally gonna sell everything I own. Like all NFTs, all physical collectibles, all fucking savings. No, I'm just joking. Gonna friggin' sell the house, sell everything that I own, and just go full into the friggin' Pikachu and Charizard, But I'm just kidding. I'm just saying that if we do get Pokemon, you bet your life that that's probably going to be the best NFT opportunity out there. And despite people's concerns for it being not maybe interoperable or having your own keys to these things, I bet you like Logan Paul and all these people are just their emotions are going to be so damn high that they're just going to FOMO into it, right? So yeah, I'm pretty excited about if that happens or when it happens. So yeah. Yeah, finally caught up. Comments, man. I feel good now. That's awesome. Okay, we got more comments here. Pure chaos. Imagine if Vivi announced Superman #1 and starred. Market would tank further than it already has. Walt could touch 2K. Man, one thing I just want to say is that I really feel for people that bought things at the all-time high with actual fiat. Like that's one thing that I didn't realize what was going on, but like I've met people now that like went in and literally took out like 70,000 US dollars to go buy like Spider-Man SR, right? Um it's just it's crazy. Like I just think like with such a unless you have money to burn, sure, if you're rich and you want to kind of speculate, go for it. But like that to me, I could never do something like that. I'd just be so risky, right? So for me, all the reason why I was able to kind of accumulate bigger assets and sell and trade and things like that is because I bought low and sold high, or because I flipped my way up. I didn't have that kind of liquidity just on standby. That was from flipping and understanding the market and continuing to add over time in a calculated way, right? So I just think that's an important thing because like for a lot of people, maybe right now what you paid for Walt is, back in the day, you're already losing money. But for some people, they bought Walt at like 2K or 1.5K. But I could see it. I could see it potentially going down even further, man. Especially because they say the recession is going to get worse next year. So who knows what's going to happen? But let's hope not. Yeah, Walt's price is crazy right now. Yeah, I just want to let's talk about Walt for a second. I mean, shit, man. First Mickey and on the blockchain and the first appearance of Walt Disney, which is the #1 most important person in animation, and I believe one of the top 100 people that have ever existed. Like that's what a lot of rankings put this guy at, right? So yeah, I mean, it's a huge deal. Like Walt is a big deal. I think now though you're seeing because it's a bear market that there's just because there's less volume. So this is oh man, I'm gonna share this with you. I think this is exactly what's happening. I think maybe Sleepin and I talked about this, but this is what I've noticed. Okay, and I'll just share it with you. These are the trends I've noticed. When we're in a bear market, what happens is that scarcity really wins the day, and a lot of people put their money in scarce collectibles that might not be as popular because they think that it's like retaining a higher value. And that's just what I'm noticing. I could be totally wrong, but this is just hear me out. And then what's going on is that a lot of these things like Spider Gwen or Common Spider-Man or like whatever, right? Like all these like kind of like, or let's say Boba Fett ultra rare, all these things that really don't have a lot of volume right now, and they're like a pretty big edition size. In my opinion, that's the things to stack. Because way back in the day, if I only stacked more Todds, Supermans, etc., like Thor now or Black Panther or whatever, like these really popular IPs that aren't that expensive for like a secret rare or whatever, then if we do have mass adoption is the fucking crux of this. That all of a sudden now you get like still low supply but massive demand, right? So what happened? Like let's just talk about that. Let's break it down for a second. When you have like an artist piece, let's say it's 600 editions, really cool. But how many people like that artist piece, right? Not that many. Like there might be people that like it and it's cool or whatever, but there's still not that many. And now you look at like Secret Rare Black Panther and you're like, oh, well, there's 2,200 editions. So it's got like 4 or 5 times the amount of that artist piece. But what happens is the demand is probably 10,000 to 15,000 times bigger, right? So you have like the demand is so much bigger. So if you have mass adoption and people are coming in and wanting things, they're going to want their superheroes. They're going to want the things that they're familiar with. They're going to want those kind of things. And that's what happened in the last bull cycle. Anybody that fucking did that, man, made millions of dollars, like insane. Okay. So I wanted to share that again, not financial advice. We might not see mass adoption. We might not, things might change in the Veveverse. Maybe scarcity wins the day because in the metaverse or the Veveverse, people that have the things that are less seen are more interesting. Right. So anyways, I wanted to share that. That's just my, it's just my thoughts on that. Yeah, so Nick says you sold some Todds to fund your wedding on your 10-year anniversary. You'll sell your SR miles for first class around the world trip. I just know it. And Nick, I might do that. You know what I'm trying to say? Like as much as I love NFTs, man, like the real stuff out there, man, is more important, right? Like this stuff's all great and it's fun to make money. It's fun to collect, but your wife, your family, your health, all that stuff is friends, family, shit like that. It's all way more important, man. This is really cool. I love it. It's a passion. But if you tell me, hey man, you can do a full trip around the world, or like if some of these NFTs hit hundreds of $1,000 price points or even $1 million one day, I mean, who knows, right? Like I would definitely sell that off. So that's, unless I had millions and millions of dollars. Anyways, sorry, that was a huge rant, but I thought it was important. J Kill, hello pioneers. I'm so bullish about Superman. Yes, I know it's a big deal, man. J Kill, also wanted to shout you out. Thanks for being a member here, man. Really appreciate you. And if you don't know J Kill, he actually already has his own YouTube channel as well, and he's completely diversified into so many fucking projects. I don't know how you have the liquidity, to be honest with you, dude. Like, you're in so many NFT projects, and you're a big player in all of them. So big congrats and kudos to you. And if you haven't followed J Kill yet, man, do so now. He's unreal, man. Jimbo Lee, hello, Master Chad. Tomorrow I complete the 100 sets in VV, 690 total collectibles and comics. Oh my God, Jimbo, that's unbelievable, bro. Like, congrats. That's a huge accomplishment. Damn, that's so crazy. Oh, I see other people are saying nice and all that stuff to you. So yeah, that is huge, man. That's a big deal, bro. Congrats on that. Yeah, thanks, J Kill. Smash that like and top bell. You don't want to miss this content. Thanks, bro. The Gale still here says J Kill double OG, triple OG, XRP. Yeah, that's fucking right. I remember with XRP, J Kill, you won some kind of contest or something like that. I forget. Maybe like if you can put that in the chat. What was that? And then I remember if you look at J Kill's videos on YouTube, he was making VV content like way back in the day, showing off like Harley Quinn 19 and AR. And remember you had them like all placed and you were singing songs. It was legit, man. I used to watch that stuff all the time. Yeah, it's cool too to see like that. That's one thing I think I might actually end up doing over time is in the next maybe season or two, I might actually going back and start collecting all the OG stuff like Nightwings, Robins, Mortads, stuff like that, right? And the other thing I'm going to mention to you guys right now too, I'm just going to be 100% real with you. I had a whale one time tell me, he's like, one day you're going to go in the market and all the, season 1 collectibles sub 100s are just going to be gone. He's like, it's just going to be like poof and you'll never be able to get them. And I saw number 44 Nightwing, man, the other day for $999. And I was literally about to fucking grab it. And literally as I was about to grab it, somebody else picked it up. And right now the lowest edition Nightwing is like 113. And that's on a lot of these NFTs. If you go check out like the black and white NFTs, man, there's not a lot of sub 100s. There are a lot of them are locked up. So I just thought that's kind of neat because we might see the same kind of things happen with, these future NFTs. And the other thing I'll tell you now too about mints and why low mints don't matter as much now is purely based on volume, right? When we had a lot of people in this app and when we had fewer and fewer NFTs, when you saw Walt, and I think I've said this already, but people were literally spending an extra fucking $2,000 to mint up or mint down rather from like a 456 Walt to like a 127 Walt. I saw it happen all the time. Now you see drops happen and like number 44 is like $200. Like that cat or whatever that dropped today, that DC thing was, or decon thing that was super cool. I actually got one here. Let me see what it is. So I'm not butchering the name because I want to like say this property. Yeah. So Boo the Cat, right? The Haunted Edition Mike Egan. So that if you look right now at like the low mints, man, like let's just look this up right now. Yeah, 41, number 41 mint, $650. Number 49, $175. 57, 120, right? Like, because again, there's not enough people buying this NFT where those things are really going to sell. And that's the whole thing I'm saying is like, if we get mass adoption, the things that are very popular with a higher edition count that are like important, like historically significant, like an FA or some of these low mints, I think will matter more. But right now we're seeing a lot of people pull back. So anyways, that's a few more things there. How do I get rich quick with the Superman NFT? Well, you got to land the legendary, bro. Or if you are smart and you time the market where I don't know where it's going to sit, but like let's say it's, it sits pretty low and you put in a few grand and then all of a sudden like you wait on that, maybe you'll get money. Again, not financial advice because maybe it goes the other way. I don't know. But I'm just saying that's the get rich quick scheme, right? and the likelihood of you getting legendary is very, very low. So, but I wish you luck, and maybe you will. Mr. Lockneck, how do I? Oh yeah, VV Flex. What do you think of the DC comic rarities? Like how the common will have wear and tear compared to the legendary rarity? Dude, I didn't even go into that. That's so crazy. Remember David Yu started talking about that as well, how he wanted to kind of introduce this degrading thing. Yeah, I mean, if you get I think it's silly, like in my opinion. I think the whole reason that you want to get an NFT or an NFT is so that it doesn't wear and tear. Like that's the whole purpose of these things. So the fact that you're going to introduce like digital wearing, like what the fuck is that? In my opinion, I don't know. I get it, like maybe it's just more incentive to get the one that doesn't wear, but I think it's silly. I don't know. The whole thing about an NFT to me is like for it to stay in pristine condition forever, so that some of these assets in real life, you don't have to worry about when you get them as an NFT, because you're like, okay, the whole thing that I want here is like this thing that's going to last forever. And I don't know, I mean, it also takes away from like low mints and high mints. Like if they have like a wear and tear element, then if it's low mint or high mint, that will probably matter a lot less. It'll more matter about the condition of the NFT. So like low mint, high mint won't actually matter, in my opinion, in this instance as much. Maybe it'll like play a small component, but if they're actually introduced wear and tear, like the mints will matter way less. So it's an interesting one. The Gale J Kill probably had the first VV music video, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he did, bro. Okay, yeah. So J Kill says me and Mrs. J Kill won XRP bags 420 song contest with our first ever song called "Can't Get Our Keys" about XRP. Yeah, I remember that, man. That was crazy. You killed that. Chris Neo, when collectibles are all burnt up, low mints will be highly sought after. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point too. So Chris makes a good point on burning, right? I forgot about that. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, man, I totally agree with that. Like once stuff is burnt up and like people get rid of a lot of these things, then sure, they're gonna matter even more. JKL AR Nightmares is our newest song, a 13-minute AR NFT video. JKL, put some links in the chat, bro, so people could see it. Oh, we got Mr. T in the house. What's up, brother? Nice to see you, man. John says, what's your collection of VV looking like currently? What collectibles, comics? Well, to be fair, man, I sold a lot of things off a few times, and I like to flip and move around. And I still hold a lot of things too, but basically I'm kind of going after a lot of the OG stuff now. So I'm kind of, because I'm thinking about a brand now rather than what's essentially going to make me the most money right now. So I'm trying to go for this more like old school brand that will kind of make me an OG. So I really want to get back into more like Rizzos. I want to get back into like HQ19. I was looking at a golden Moogly. I'm hoping somebody like drops it for a stupid price, like I don't know, like 1.8K or something. So I want to start building up like a season 1 kind of collection, and have a lot of these OG things. And I think that would just add some like credibility to my brand potentially in the Veveverse. Because I think I told you, but I made some money from my wedding and from my house. And then, if I would have kept that same stuff till now, or not maybe right now, but until February, man, I would have been like living the dream. I probably could have just done YouTube full time if that was the case, but I didn't do that. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking, man. I'm kind of going there, and then just some cool, scarce, popular stuff. Like, I don't know, I used to like get really mad when I didn't have something, but because there's just so many more things dropping on VV, I was like, just kind of pick and choose what I like and what's cool to me, and that I think will obviously retain value. But I think I'm starting to develop more of like an image kind of thing. That's what I want to go for now. Nick Batcher, did that whale who said that about first season collectible own over 100 TOS by any chance? Actually, no. So that's not Silicon. That's another guy, and you probably know him. You've seen him out there, but yeah, he was. He gave me a lot of insight early on. JKL says I prefer grading on original cover over 5 variants. I agree. The Gale says the wear and tear is just a look. It won't further degrade. Oh, okay, I appreciate that. The Gale comes in with some clarity. So he's saying that if you like, open, let's say the common cover a bunch of times, it's not going to get worse and worse. But I just think it's silly. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I just think it takes away from the end, like the reason that I would want to buy an NFT. And I think it's adding like some arbitrary negativity to it when I'm like, man, you only got 3,000 editions to begin with. Why are you giving me something that's not beautiful. I don't know. It pisses me off. I'll be honest with you. Like I love what Palm is doing and I love the edition sizes, but I don't know, man. Like this end like come on. Like the whole reason that we have the NFTs is so things don't wear and tear. Like that's the purpose of it. So why are you making it wear and tear? Like that's the whole reason that this shit's in glass right now and stuff is that I don't want it to get worse, right? So anyways. Yeah, BB Flexes, I think the wear and tear is stupid too. Rather have different cover variants. Yeah, man. Alex, yeah, the degradation thing seems weird. Yeah, okay. At least I'm not the only one, right? Like I think that, and yeah, the Gale knows a lot more than me about this stuff. Like with DC. So he's like, yeah, he's like the cleanest looking comic will be the highest rarity is all. Yeah, that's all. So maybe it makes sense to me. I'm a little like I don't want like sloppy seconds. Just joking. But I just want to make sure that it looks cool. You know what I mean? Like when I'm showing it off, like am I showing off the pristine or am I showing off like ripped pages of an NFT? And somebody's gonna be like, oh, why do you have like a beat up NFT comic? And I'll be like, well, I didn't get the legendary rarity. I mean, I don't know. It just seems weird. Like it doesn't like if you're thinking about people wanting to show it off in AR or like use it as social capital, if you have something that's not looking that great, people are gonna just be like, all right, So I don't know. It's a weird one for me. Caesar 198, you think Miles and hoodie season could eventually get some name brand added to his clothing, Chad? Dude, that's a cool one, man. I mean, imagine you got those Nike kicks going or something like that. I mean, hey, the future, it is possible, but um I think like, just there's so many things that need to happen before it kind of could take off like that. Like interoperability is key. And then when you have like multiple licenses on operating within one brand, then you would need to like those licenses to connect on what that NFT could do and can't do and stuff like that. I think it becomes pretty complicated, but hey man, I'm all for it. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep riding through these comments, man. Some really good engagement tonight. Yeah, the Gale. With only 3K editions, I'll take whatever. He's right. With only 3K editions, come on, right? How could you be mad? You got Superman #1, and there's only 3,000 people in the fucking world that can get it, and it's the most expensive fucking comic on record, right? So I agree, but I'm just sad because I know the Gale that I'm probably not gonna get the cleanest version, so I'm just like I want the clean one, but I know it's not feasible for me. You know what I mean? A few people in here says, okay, what do you think of the ape little friends? Golden ape is scarce. Yeah, what is the golden ape? 48, I think it is. Back in the day, it was popping. It was like I don't know, 5 or 6K. Ali Robles says hi. You still believe on VV? I do, Ali. Apparently you don't, but I definitely believe, man. I was in a bear market before, or I was in a market where the Gale and J Kill and all these other guys were with me, where a lot of people didn't believe, and then we saw things, erupt. We saw, Todd, for instance, go from $79 to 14 grand. We saw Secret Rare Spider-Man on drop be bought for $400 and hit 100K. So, and quite recently we just saw a Miles Morales drop that if you got the friggin' ultra rare or rare or the SR, you did a minimum 5x to like a friggin' 100x almost. So, there's still, you can still make money, man. There's and I think there's the considering where we're at right now as well, I think there's still a huge future, man. Alex, why are you giving me something that's not beautiful? Yeah, man, that's my thinking. Come on, I want the best, right? But you can't always get the best. John says, facts, man, an NFT should not wear and tear, but I guess they wanted to do something different. Yeah, and maybe that's what it is too, right, John? And maybe they're like, we want to stand out. We want to be different from VV. We want to give these different perspectives on things, and that will kind of make people, more or less interested. Or maybe the people are going to spend a lot more money now on the legendary because they don't want the one that's, subject to wear and tear. It doesn't look as good. So yeah, I think it's an interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Mr. Trackstar, I need one. J Kill says, I'd be happy to just get one. Trackstar says legendary. I'm so nervous. Don't be nervous, bro. I'm nervous too. I never land drops. So, I know I'm not going to get one, and I'm going to have to be going in the aftermarket, and I'm probably going to be spending a lot of money, and I might not time it perfectly and lose a little bit money, but I'm ready to hold that one. I think it's cool. Hey, WNC says, let's go, Chad. Lunch break hangs before I go back to work. Hope everything's doing well. Wow, cool, man. Thanks for joining me here. So you are in what, Australia then? Because it's, almost 12 p.m. my time here. And, if you're on your lunch break, then you're 12 hours away. So pretty cool. Nick Batchelor says, I wonder how many mints Palm will keep. 40, 200, any? Yeah, it's a good question. I'm presuming they're going to have to at least keep a few. And yeah, look at me go, man. Right from Brisbane, Australia. Perfect. Yeah, so I think I'm not sure what the edition size. Maybe the Gale can comment on that if he's still in the chat. You should see this Todd Spawn Headless Horseman's Gunslinger. He's dropping only 100, only 28 for public, 70 for current stakers, 2 for the giveaway, 3.3 Sol on drop. Wow. Who's that? That's what is that, like McFarlane drop or something like that, Jaco? Sounds pretty epic. I'm going to try to come to Decon. I told Sean from Comics and Crypto that I'm going to try. I think it's just a matter of convincing my wife. She doesn't like that I do all this stuff on the side. This is like a little office here, and she's more supportive of me going on a mountain bike or going on a run or cooking dinner or things like that. Not so much of, hey, gonna go buy Pokemon cards or gonna go buy an NFT, a digital thing. So it's kind of hard, but dude, I want cause too, man. I've been waiting for cause for like so long. That would be so crazy. Yeah, thanks, man. I actually have another one, and I gave it to my wife's sister because she's was starting like a business or whatever. So, yeah, there it is. Pretty cool. It's actually really cool when you hold it up. It's got like a really cool texture, but it's just the fact that it's like a limited edition piece, and I just like I find it goes well with the brand. Like when I think about NFT pirates, I think like I need cause NFTs. Yeah, man. So VV Flex says, I do think Marvel Comics versus D Comics drops every week will be competitive. Marvel might be forced to drop fire every week. Yeah. That's crazy, right? Like, think about that, how cool that is that we got like kind of DC versus Marvel and that you can get them on both platforms. And I feel for those comic guys, man, that are now going to have to cover double the amount of comics dropping. Like, I just thought about like Comics and Crypto is probably going to have to now cover everything that that DC's dropping on top of what VV's dropping. So it's going to be a lot of work, man. Okay, yeah. So JKL says, yep, on Oddkey. That's good to know. Alex says, what would be the one NFT you'd want most if you could have any NFT? Well, maybe I could just tell you what I would be on VV, and then I'll tell you what it would be on Palm, and then I'll tell you what it's like in every facet, right? Or every part of the world. So it'd be on VV, it would be the AF15 secret rare, just because it has the lowest edition count. It's scarce, it's exceptionally popular, and it has a really, really good high in real life value. So I feel like it would share a part of that market. And I think there's like a lot of physicals that have already, that have degraded pretty significantly for AF15 in the real world, meaning that like, if people won't love that comic, they may share the digital one day, or they may want to like transition there. So I think that would be like my number one. Be honest with you, I'm a really big fan right now to AF15 SR. I'm not trying to pump my own bags. I do think that like, the Secret Rare Spider-Man, and Marvel 1 probably like at least currently are probably maybe worth more potentially, but I think the scarcity of it, 160 editions to the public, is insane, given that Miles Morales could be that next gen Spider-Man. And I really think that because of the way that the world's transitioning as well, that there's not enough black superheroes, and I could just see that like Miles Morales really catering to the younger people. And I know a lot of other people are saying, oh well, because it's for the younger generation who has millions of dollars that's young, but I think you're going to see like a lot of people buy into it if that's the case. So I'm really, really excited about the future of that one, and I would put that in a top 3 collectible for me at least. And then on Palm, obviously it's the Superman number 1. And then if it's any NFT in the world, man, probably want like a Bored Ape, which I like missed out on the opportunity for that. Like probably like some super rare one that's gold or whatever, just because of the amount of connections that you can get and the credibility. Like for instance, if I had a gold Bored Ape right now, or like something that was like really rare traits, I could do a YouTube channel and get way more clout than I do. And I could dip into every other project and everyone would, think that I've got a lot of wisdom and everything like that. As when you're in like more of these like licensed NFTs that are less money, it's like hard to get the traction outside of this space from other people. So yeah. And, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not like I'm saying that I think Bored Apes are better than Vivi. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that like for me in terms of building a brand or to get YouTube views or to actually start if I could do YouTube full time, I feel like that would fucking help for sure, right? Like people would be like, oh, okay, this guy has that. I can put it on my Twitter PFP, like all these things, right? And if you're talking like a licensed product, I would probably want like some of these things on autograph that are like one of ones um, or what was the one that sold recently? Oh man, what was it? Anyways, Comics and Crypto did a podcast on it, but it was essentially like a sports card, like a really, really famous sports card that was turned over to the digital. And I think it only sold for a few 100,000, but something like that. Yeah. And who knows, man, like on VV, maybe we get that kind of thing, right? Like I think even Walt, for instance, like 1901 Walt, give me a special edition Walt. I'd want that too. Oh, how much? Yes, WNC says how much does this cost? It's about $1,000, about 1,000. Comes with the whole box. It's pretty sick. Here, let me see if I can pull it down. But I got it like completely wrapped, like no, and I could have I should have left it in the box, but I kind of wanted it, I wanted it out, man. Yeah, it comes with a whole like setup, comes with all these things. It's pretty sick. It's expensive though. You gotta really want it. Like I wouldn't like recommend buying it as the first, collectible, but Nick says, I do like that 9 a.m. Pacific time drop for Palm. Get an extra hour sleep. 5 a.m. drop in Hawaii. Damn, dude. I forgot about that. Yeah, for me, it's amazing because like the 8 a.m. Pacific time drop for me on VV. Oh, shit. Superstar Money's in the house too. Yeah, so Superstar Money lives 40 minutes away. So for us, man, that drop time is perfect. It's literally like 11 a.m. for us. So you get up, you get your coffee, you get your fingers friggin' moving, you start you start getting ready for it. You have to think about it. And then, yeah, it's usually at a pretty good time. So I think we got it best, but we don't have the best cell towers, though. I'll tell you that. Yeah, and Boost 777 says, man, for sure he goes, Walt is huge as well, and I agree. Like Walt is a big one, man. Maybe that is going to be the Bitcoin of NFTs one day, right? So we'll see what happens, right? Oh, we got sexfind.info. Best adult dating site. Whatever you do, don't click. I know we could all be a little horny sometimes, but do not click sexfind.info. Right? Thanks for coming in the chat and good try and fuck off. There you go. I just blocked that bastard. Yeah, Jimbo says Superstar Money. Yes, sir, man. Superstar Money. Yo, you got to go check out Superstar Money. These guys are giving out like daily content. Like if these guys were like I say dropping more videos like in the October, November time, they'd have like 10K plus fucking subs, and they deserve like more subs than me, man. These guys are so intelligent. They're I think the engineers, if I'm not wrong, as well, and they break down information all the time, and they have a new video every day. They've got a nice subscription base. And yeah, we've always kind of said we want to meet up one day, so I'm hoping that we can do that, bro. That'd be really cool. Yeah, that'd be sweet. Yeah, hang out just to kind of check each other out and stuff. Yeah. Omicron, hey homie, hope we get TO con event. I'd def be hitting that up. Keep up the great work. Yo, Omicron, thank you so much, man. Bro, I and Omicron like lives right around the corner as well. Like it's just crazy. So dude, I would love to, meet up as well. If you ever wanted to get a beer or whatever, just hit me up. And that's so kind of you, man, to tip me like that. Really, really appreciate that, dude. Really, really cool. Yeah, Jimbo Lee says I will see the Canadian gang at Decon. Yeah, man. I think that'd be unreal. And also, did you see this? Bro, a little Miles Morales here. I was gonna get like the more expensive one, but I would just kind of wanted a little collectible for now. But it's kind of cool, right? It's cool. Just I don't know. It's bringing all this stuff back out of me as a kid that I like suppressed. Now I get to live it up again. Nagan Tran says I bought 4 Waltz at 3.5, 8K, 15K, and 17K. Definitely have to hodl. Yeah, I hear you, bro. I mean, that's tough, right? But at the same time, like, not financial advice, of course, but I do think it's one of the most significant NFTs out there. And the one thing that I think is really good about Walt and Mickey as well is that, in aside of their popularity, right, which we all know is, insane. I think like Mickey's the number 2 biggest fictional character in the world, or number 3. And then, like I said, Walt is hugely significant as well. And then if there's any utility, which, you always got comics and crypto talking about utility and stuff, then it could be massive, right? It could be really, really massive. And with only 4,333 editions worldwide, I mean, that's similar to Superman #1. That only has 3,000. There's just not different variants, but it's a big, big deal because there's nothing else out like it right now. And the other thing that I was going to say that I really like is that on IMX, there's no debate. Like when that came out on IMX, which was like in December, there was no Mickeys or anything else in there ever. So with that, like, once that got minted on IMX, you have complete security that was the first minted on the blockchain. Again, not financial advice, but and I did a video on Walt review because I was so bullish on that NFT. So I think it's pretty damn cool. Oh, and Gail, man, dropping some announcements. So Hero's now available in Canada, by the way, for anyone who want to participate. Yeah, and I think I'll probably get back in there as well. I was trying to set up a VPN at the time. It was too complicated. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to try to cheat the system. I'll just see if it does come to Canada. So that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. Is it at our Walmarts, or like, is it just like you can now just connect digitally, or how does that work? And then Crypto Knight says, would you sell Walt for Spider-Man Miles SR? I feel like it's going to depend on the person, but put it this way. When Miles SR was like 3.5K, I would have sold Walt for it. Yeah. And then I would have chased, like, if you're talking about flipping, I would have sold Walt, put it into Miles, waited till Miles to peak, and then I would have sold Miles and then bought my Walt back and had the gems. That's probably what I would have done. But I really like Spider-Man Miles SR. So, but again, like, you have to watch these things because in a bull market, you have to, the biggest thing is community, right? Because community really drives the direction and where the eyes are, like where everybody's eyes are focused. So if like everyone's loving Walt, if all these big influencers, celebrities, etc., is driving the price of Walt up, then maybe if you're smart enough to get on there early, or if you have them, then maybe that's the way to do it. But again, you may also see like people get into Miles. So there's really no way of kind of knowing. But I do think that like we have the demand that we think we're gonna have for Walt, it could be massive. So. So Say Less says, if you don't got a Legacy Cal comic, I don't know you. Yeah. So yeah, he's not gonna be friends with anybody that doesn't have a Cal. Okay, so that's what he's saying. So Say Less says, if you don't have a Legacy Cal, get out of here. Yeah, man. So anyways, I think I caught up with the comments, right? Sweet. So yeah, this is a good little stream here, guys. I think I'm gonna probably take off soon just because I've got to go to work in the morning. But yeah, if you can smash that like button, I'd really, really appreciate that. And consider joining the membership as well, where I'm going to be doing some different NFT reviews. I'll like have member only live chats, as well as like I give you like helpful information and tips along the way. I'll kind of like inform you whatever I'm kind of doing if I'm like buying a new NFT or things like that. So yeah, man. So consider joining the membership, and consider also looking at some clothes and stuff for NFT Pirates. And yeah, really appreciate you guys all kind of coming in today and having a good chat like this. Really casual, cool conversation. And then Jibble says, before I go, he goes, sorry, how many sets are from the Miles Morales? How many owners? Very few. Yeah, that's true. So only 250 people can complete the Miles Morales set. Actually, not even 160 really, if you're being technical. So that's pretty freaking cool, right? Red Hot Snack says, we're coming for that Superman #1. So true. Great stream. Thanks as always, Chaz. Do you ever put out your top grails list? I never did, Alex. I should do that. I said once I get to 10K, I'm going to put out top grails list. So I should do it. The only problem is that it gets too complicated. I'm going to have this huge amount of like micro factors that affect my decision, including like popularity, scarcity, aesthetic, all these things, and it's just a lot. So, but yeah, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'm actually going on with the CEO of Quid on Friday, so wish me luck with that. We'll see what you guys think. I'm just going to be challenging him. I'm going to be picking his brain, and mostly challenging him. But I think it'll be interesting to see what he says, and yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. And then also hoping to have a few more whales on soon, and maybe jumping in on a call with our friend Silicon there eventually. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much. Have a great time, great week, and yeah, look forward to seeing you soon. And good luck on the drop on Thursday. Do not miss that drop, man. Do not miss that drop. Peace.